Not forgetting. Forgetting is our natural action. I'm focusing on something, there will be more and more attachments in something. Our traditional actions are not meditation. Meditation is changing attention from the created truth to the original truth. Original truth is just impermanent nature, not something, not this, not that. Believing in impermanent nature is quite opposite with our traditional action. You need a lot of practice to believe in impermanent nature. It is free action, not this way, not that way, not doing like this. You must free from this and that. The middle way is the original way, not this way, not that way. Attachments in this and that is hidden the original truth. This practice in them to stop the traditional action of our mind. The original truth is just impermanent nature, not something, not someone, not the time, not the place. You and I, this and that, time and place, all are just creation. We are slaves of our own creation. That's why all our action is concerned with this way or that way, this time or that time, this place or that place. Because our mind is just creation. That's why our mind understands only about this and that. Like the fan, it is just creation. It understands to stop and move, stop and move, stop and move. That fan can do only stopping and moving. So our mind is also created to do like that. That's why our mind understands doing this or doing that, how to do, what to do, how long to do. Because our mind is not free. No knowledge about original wisdom. That's why our mind thinks life is real, death is real. It is because of not knowing the original truth and original wisdom. Mind is always busy with created truth. So meditation is trying to be free from that limit. We must not depend on our brain, on our mind, on our life. We must use it. This body and mind is to use only. We must stop the idea of I or you, man or woman, young or old, life or death. Our action must not represent to our life, to this body and mind. Believe in impermanent nature without I. Whatever happens to your body and to your mind, you may be sick or you may be healthy, no problem. Not to forget the original truth is important. Your health is not important. Your mind, whatever happens to your mind is not important. Your mind may be pain or pleasure. Whatever happens to your mind, try not to forget the original truth about nature. In this way, attachments to our mind and body will become less and less. This practice is free. It is not concerned with your present situation. The original truth is free. It is permanent. I am paying attention to the original truth. This practice will solve all our problems.
After I have learned to be free, this I have to realize first. To go through the realization that only I am able to be free. But what I have done is that you just get the information and believe that the original truth. You just kind of putting in another idea to the mind, so that you directly from the nature to kind of directing the mind away from what is always good. You do something like that.
Yes, it is changing my habit. This practice is especially concerned with mind, not concerned with our body. It is changing my habit. In this way, we can change the cause. The effect will also change. Changing the cause of mind. attention to something is our tradition, the old course of mind. So by paying attention to something, someone, to the time, to the place, we are making the old course only. That's why the effect will be the same. So it is changing the course of mind, and in this way, the new effect, original wisdom and original truth will appear. By practicing what you have never practiced before, it is doing the new job, new course. In this way, new effect will appear. You can practice in any time, in any situation. It's quite different. Doing with eye and doing only is quite different.
So another question you ask. I seem to hear Sayadaw means that we don't even give attention to the mind and body.
Yes.
Because when we give attention to the mind and body, we are seeing it something that. So the attention is more given towards the permanent nature. In the past, we learn to observe the mind as impermanent nature. We learn to observe the body as impermanent nature. We learn to observe the thoughts and feelings as impermanent nature. But Sayadaw's teaching seems to imply that we don't look at that, because the moment we look at that, we fall into the trap of the created truth.
Yes.
So the attention now is directed towards the real truth, which is the impermanent nature.
Question. When you say impermanent nature, is it the same as the idea of this too shall pass? What does that impermanent nature mean when you were describing it to us? You know what is impermanent nature? Maybe a simple example.
Only impermanent nature appear, and only impermanent nature disappear. Not something appear and disappear. Not somebody appear and disappear. Not some appear and disappear. Just impermanent nature appear and disappear. Impermanent nature. That impermanent nature is not something you cannot understand with our mind, because our mind is just something, just creation. That's why it is free. That's why it is permanent. That impermanent nature is disappear, only impermanent nature. Disappear. The permanent nature is opposite with impermanent nature. Free from impermanent nature. Permanent nature is free from impermanent nature. Impermanent nature is just appear, disappear. It is the natural process. Nobody created. The truth has power. So only when trying to believe the truth, the original wisdom will appear and you will understand it is right. Only by practice you can believe the truth. For me, I'm a Buddhist, but just tradition. I know nothing about Buddha and his teaching. But because of right practice, I understand many about the original truth.
Can I use this example in my little mind, trying to understand this? Can I use this example like there's the ocean, and then there's the waves. Waves go up and down, so that's impermanent waves. Whereas the ocean is permanent.
Even the ocean will disappear, even the earth will disappear, but the impermanent nature never disappear. You can say like that, but example is not perfect, not represent to the original truth.
In other words, what Sayadaw means, we can't use a worldly example to represent impermanent nature.
Yes.
Because it is beyond.
So the mind will never be grasped.
Yes.
So if the mind can never grasp it, how do we direct our attention then to the impermanent nature? Because the nature of the mind couldn't grasp the truth. For the mind is always grasping at its own thoughts and feelings. Even though and it's true that the thought and feeling is not even real. So it's a dilemma now, because we can't grasp what is the truth, and yet what we grasp is not true. So it is a strange conflicting experience that the mind is trying to do.
That's why the teacher is important. You cannot find the truth by yourself. That's why Buddha tried to understand easily with the help of him. His desire to understand like him. Buddha desire to understand like him, to know like him. That's desire. Because of that desire, we can understand. Our mind can have connection with the ultimate truth. Without that desire, nobody can understand the truth.
In other words, what Sayadaw is trying to say is we have to borrow the Buddha's desire instead of my desire.
We must believe that truth. Now because of my desire, what I am saying is not important. But the desire to understand like me, it is very strong. That desire will help you to understand the truth. Without that desire, the desire is also copied from Buddha, not my origin. Because of right practice, that right practice is also discovered by Buddha. That's why there's Buddha and Buddhism now, and his teaching is still now. That's why it is possible to get help from him. His good will, his strong desire to know like him is still alive. That's why it is possible to have connection with the ultimate truth.
So when Sayadaw mentioned the desire of the Buddha, Sayadaw is not meaning to say the Buddha's teaching.
No.
About
this method, about the original truth. Because of original truth, Buddha was well known as Buddha in human society. The teacher of Buddha is the original truth. Even Buddha is the follower compared with the original truth and original wisdom. So, as Buddhism, we believe in Buddha, but that believing is not enough to understand, to have connection with the original truth.
In other words, if a person were to study the Buddha's teaching and didn't have a desire, it didn't serve a purpose.
Our believing in Buddha and his teaching is just imitation. Only by right practice, believing the original believing will be that creation and original are quite opposite. Creation has a lot of limits. Buddha's teaching has limits. It cannot go beyond the Dhamma. Buddha teaching appear at one time and will disappear one time. Even Buddha cannot go beyond the Dhamma. But the original truth and original wisdom is beyond the Dhamma, beyond the place.
In other words, Sayadaw, anything that you can perceive in mind, whether it's the Buddha's teaching, whether it's whatever truth the mind can think of, it is not true. It's just a created truth.
Yes. We can be good, but we have good habits, good personality, good attitude, but all are just creation, not real. That's why no one is perfect. No mind is perfect. Because of right practice, the original truth and original wisdom will appear. Only when our mind has connection with original wisdom, mind can be perfect. As Buddhism, our mind has connection with Buddha and his teaching. Even other religion, their mind has connection with Buddha and his teaching. But it is not the original truth. Their knowledge is only about created truth. That's why no one is perfect, no man is perfect. Because someone is not perfect. Nobody is perfect. Nobody cannot go beyond the time, beyond the place.
I ask a question. You say pay attention to the permanent nature. Is it like such as the rising of the body and things appear and disappear? When we notice that it is appear and disappear, we do enough practice that we are able to see that these are all just information and realize that not from the because I realize that more step of this when it's distance
it's different.
What he's saying is we direct our attention to things and try to observe the impermanent nature. But as Sayadaw mentioned, the moment you give attention to things, it is not impermanent. Because he explains by observing things, when you observe things, things have to change.
Yes.
Is there impermanent nature?
It is just creation. It is also just creation.
It's a creation, but if you were to observe it, then a wisdom will rise up.
That wisdom is only created wisdom, not original wisdom. You can understand that everything is impermanent, everyone is impermanent. It is easy to understand, but that understanding is just created wisdom only, not original wisdom. Original wisdom is perfect. If there is original wisdom, because of that wisdom, I'm practicing the right way, automatic knowing about the created truth will also appear. What I'm knowing about the created truth is not by learning. It is automatic. It is difficult to explain. Direct understanding. You must stop the action of your mind manually and automatically. We are using our mind in two systems, manual system and automatic system. That system is hidden the original truth and original wisdom. Only when we can stop our action, the action of our mind, the original truth and original wisdom will appear. Not everything, just impermanent nature. Yes, because the original truth and original wisdom is permanent. That's why no need to discover it. Just we must try to stop the action of our mind. We are using our mind as our own mind. That habit is hidden the original truth and original wisdom. We used to think, especially for me, I love thinking. Before meditation, I'm thinking all the time. And because of meditation, I can stop thinking. Automatic decision, automatic idea appear. Because of the ability, this can stop thinking. We know how to do, how to think, but that ability is normal. Because of this practice, the ability which can stop thinking is more powerful than thinking habits. In this way, automatic idea will appear. No need to think, no more thinking. Making you need no more decision. Automatic decision will appear. If you are not sure what to do it or don't do it, just pay attention to the original truth. That action will give you decision. Right practice will tell you what to do, what not to do. No more learning from books, from someone. Automatic knowing will appear. Automatic answer. No more question to someone. What you are doing is not important. Thinking or not thinking is not important. When you are thinking, you must not forget. Try not to forget the original truth and permanent nature. In this way, thinking is not important. You can think. You can also stop thinking. You can do it. You can also stop doing it. But must not forget the original truth. Not to forget the original truth is important. What you are doing or not doing is not important.
Sayadaw, can I ask one question? We learn to direct our attention to the original truth. At a moment, we are always directing our attention to the mind. We are using the mind to continuously do thinking and other stuff. But now we are learning to redirect our attention to the original truth. And when we direct our attention to the original truth, it has all the answer. We don't need to even think. The answer comes from the original truth.
Yes, it is the best job, the best one we can do. Because if our action is not our own, it is the desire of Buddha. Buddha is very powerful. That's why by following the way of Buddha, all our problems will be solved. Because it is the best thing, the best job we can do. Thinking is our tradition. Listening, learning, reading, all are not the best job we can do. Listening to Buddha is the best job we can do. That's why that practice is very powerful. It will fulfill all our desires. Just try not to forget the original truth, impermanent nature. It is the only solution to all problems, the only medicine to all disease.
You use the mind to access this. You use the mind to access this. Yet we can't. Yet the mind cannot grasp it.
It's not using the mind, sir. We are directing our attention.
Yes, it must not represent to our life, to our mind. It is possible. We think we are using our mind. So what I'm talking is also just using our mind, but
not giving attention to the mind.
Not attention. No idea of mind. No idea of who I am. Just action only. It is possible not to represent to our mind and body.
Because it's directing our desire to the original truth.
Yes.
It's not directing the desire without having a thought that this is my mind or that mind.
Yes.
It's directing the desire to the original truth.
Yes. Nobody is practicing. Just practicing only. Just believing only.
To even get there, we have to drop the idea of I,
Yes.
individual I, to drop that first.
You
Yes.
can't drop you can't drop the time just to direct it.
Yes.
Just to direct it.
If you pay attention to the original truth, there will be no more attention to the created truth. I, you, my body, all are created truth.
So does it mean to say that, well, everything is operating from the original truth, the impermanent nature? In that there will be no wrongdoing, there will be no suffering, or there will be no wrong, but whatever action is just an action.
Yes.
No unperceived, there will be no wrong.
Yes. Action will be only action because of this practice. Without this practice, I do it, maybe I'm wrong, we are not sure. I do wrong or I do right. That's why there is suspicion, there is doubt in our action. With this practice, action is just action only.
Hello, there's no opposite.
Yes.
No good, no bad. There's no quality. There's one quality. Yes. One quality.
Yes. No more opinion, my own opinion, nobody opinion, just neutral. Yes.
So how does original truth relate to impermanent nature? That's how I would understand.
Impermanent nature is one of the original truth. The other is permanent nature. The original truth is not concerned with someone, something. That's why it is permanent. Original truth is beyond time, beyond place. That's why it is very powerful. Because of right practice, attachments to something, everything, someone, everyone will disappear. Because the original truth is very powerful. That's why pay attention to the original truth. Our mind will also become powerful. By paying attention to our life, to someone, it will be someone is not permanent. He may be good, he may be bad, not sure. Believing in someone is not perfect, not right.
So, you mentioned a few times about believing in the impermanent nature. Can I say that at the beginning of the practice, we have to remind ourselves to believe in the impermanent nature. But once we stay and understand and realize it, we actually do not have to remind this operated by impermanent nature by itself. you have to remind in body. Because it becomes the habit, the nature.
If the impermanent nature is true, and pay attention to the impermanent nature, we must try to forget about something, someone, about our life, about the time, about the place. We think this is building, this is man, this is product, this is producing. We think, but even our mind is not true. Only impermanent nature is true. We must replace the truth. Instead of believing in ourselves and instead of believing in something, we must start believing in impermanent nature. Change our believing to impermanent nature. Stop believing in ourselves, in someone. Because I is also just I only, not your eyes, not my eyes. And even animal has eye. Basically to say, we have bones, we have blood, we have ear. Even animal has eye, ears, mind, body. Basically to say, not my eyes, not your eyes, not my mind, not your mind. Mine is just the same, not someone, not everyone. This body and mind is to use only. I is also to see only. See must be free without I, because I is not true. You can see it, you can listen without I. You can speak without I. You can eat without thinking it is food. I am eating. It is possible. Using only, action only is possible. Without forgetting the original truth. All our action will be action only. Nobody is sitting, nobody is talking, nobody is listening. Just evaluate impermanent nature. Just use it. Just use yourself. Just use my teaching. Not to occupy my way, my method. Everything is to use only. Not to grasp, not to occupy. I use English language. I speak, but no more misunderstanding. It is real. Without misunderstanding, I can speak, I can do many good deeds, I can help to everyone. Without thinking, I am real, you are real. Without misunderstanding, we can use our mind and body in anywhere, anytime. It is possible. It is the way of Buddha. Buddha found that way. Action only, knowing only. Action and knowing are also impermanent nature. Only understanding like this and not understanding is different. You and I are different only in I is not real. Your sound and my sound may be different, but it is only for ears. Ear is not real. Meditation is seen from the original truth. Depending on pay attention to the original truth. In this way, no more attention to our life, to our mind, to our body. That's why no more attention to other people also.
Second, I'd like to ask a question. Just out of curiosity, how does the mind praying to the impermanent nature slowly divert itself to the permanent nature? How does that process happen? Because the mind now is trained, the Sayadaw encourages to train to observe the permanent nature. How does it slowly, from the permanent nature observing, it divert itself into the permanent nature, which we normally call it as enlightenment? How does that process happen?
At first, we must pay attention to the original truth, impermanent nature. We must change the original object, which is impermanent nature. This means that mind and body is just created object, not original object. At first, we must change the object side. After that, we must change the subject side. Just believing only, just attention only, just action only. It must be free. It must not represent someone, something. Even though we are using our mind and body for meditation, it must be free from misunderstanding and meditating. Meditation is mind work. It is also wrong. If we think mind work means mind is real, we accept the idea of mind. Just try to believe in original truth without something, without someone. In this way, we are changing both object and subject from created to the original truth. The last is to change the dark side. Knowing is also knowing only. Just understanding like that action is only action, impermanent nature. That knowing or understanding is also just understanding only, knowing only. Nobody is new. Continuous understanding like that, and continuous understanding like that, original truth, which know about original wisdom will be. That original wisdom is not perfect yet, because it's not only about impermanent nature. If we were made to appear continuous original wisdom for about 10 minutes, the original wisdom, which is about permanent nature, will appear. It is very difficult in explaining in words because there's no one.
It is not. Where does feelings come into that? Do you use feelings or it's not considered at all?
Just freedom, because of this practice, freedom from mind and body, not only our mind and body, but also from all minds and body. Nobody is real, no mind is real. Only impermanent nature is real. Because of not knowing the impermanent nature, misunderstanding mind and body as real is the key.
So when you arrive to that understanding, that is the word, understanding, when you arrive to that original truth, is it from a knowing, because you're no longer using your logical mind? When you arrive to that, is it how? Sometimes there is a knowing with the mind, you don't understand the story, but there is a knowing of something. Is that how you arrive to the original truth? Knowing?
If the original truth and original wisdom here, because of right practice, mind and body is nothing to say. No more thinking about whatever happened to mind and body. No feeling, no more interest, no more attention to mind and body. No more question about what happened to my mind, to my body, what disease or no more question about someone, about something. The original truth is very powerful. That's why if your mind has connection with the original truth, there's no more question about the world, about the life cycle, about Nirvana. No more question. Because if there's question, your mind is not perfect. Your mind has no connection with the original truth. That's why your mind is not perfect. That's why your mind is always hungry to know something, to do something.
To have this connection, teacher with the right teacher is important.
Yes, right. Not only right teacher, but also right understanding. Buddha teaching is the same, but understanding is different in each other. Although we are Buddhism, understanding about Buddhism is not the same. Right understanding is also the most important. You must try to understand as Buddha wants to understand. Most of our understanding is our own understanding, not the desire of Buddha. What I'm saying is the desire of Buddha. Buddha wants you to understand like that. Everything is impermanent, something is impermanent. It is our own desire. If the truth may be like that. It is our own opinion, not the desire of Buddha. Buddha's desire is just impermanent nature. Forget about something, forget about everything, forget about everyone. Don't forget the truth. Just ever new impermanent nature. It is the real desire of Buddha. It is fulfilling the desire of Buddha. That's why Buddha is perfect. That's why if we fulfill the desire of Buddha, all our dreams will come true because of fulfilling the desire of Buddha. Most of the Buddhism, most of the meditators does not understand the real desire of Buddha. That's why their thinking is just their own opinion, just copying from each other, not from Buddha. What I'm saying is direct copy from Buddha, not the copy of the follower. My teaching is free. I cannot speak English very well, but my teaching is not important. The goodwill, the power behind my teaching is important. I use that power, not my appearance, not my teaching, not my speaking. So it is possible to practice like that. If you are paying attention to the words, to the action, that action will covering the original truth of the wisdom. So we must change our habit, or our habit. We must not pay attention to our mind and body. Just change attention to the original truth, to the impermanent nature, 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 to the original truth,